Hello everybody and welcome to another Mystery Box Function Challenge. In the purple box there is some math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. Because it's Friday, that math is going to be particularly challenging. If you'd like to try this out on your own, you can use the link in the description, and when you've got an idea, come on back and see if we get the same thing. All right, let's start with a 0. Okay, so 0 gives us not a number. We've seen that before when when we try to take the square roots of negative numbers here, that error. I guess we've seen it recently for a point where a function was undefined because of a removable discontinuity. Basically, it was where the function was 0 on the bottom of a rational function. Usually we get the infinity error for that, but not always. So sometimes it could be that. Let's go on. Okay. So that is a non-repeating decimal. So lends some support to maybe square root function or maybe some kind of trig function. Let's do a 2. And it's also a non-repeating decimal. How about a 3? So we're getting a gentle curve. This is starting to look like a rational function. Let's go further out. So this is interesting. It definitely looks like the arm of a rational function, but the non-repeating decimals make me think something else. Let's do a 0.5. Oh, and suddenly we're way down. Let's do 0.1. Oh, I did a negative 0.1. Let's do a positive 0.1 as well. So you can see a little bit of symmetry there, all right? So on the left and the right sides. Let's do a negative 0.5 as well. Yeah, that's also that 2.18. So this is interesting. We're getting, well, it's definitely going up and down a lot, and then we're getting some interesting interesting kind of symmetrical looking stuff. So this point and this point, so symmetrical across the origin, and this point and this point. And then it sort of smooths out later on. What happens further off in the negatives? So let's do negative 2. Yeah, same kind of symmetry. Let's do negative 3. And negative 9. Wow. Well, this is really weird. So we've got an arm that sort of approaches the x-axis on the right here, and an arm that approaches from underneath the x-axis on the left. And it looks like pretty normal curve of maybe a rational function. And then it goes crazy seemingly in the middle. A lot of ups and downs. So what could that be? So I'm thinking two things here. I'm thinking rational function, first of all, partly because of the shape of those arms. And then I'm also thinking now, not square root, but maybe trig. Because of the non-repeating decimals, that's something that does pop up with trig. And then we get the up and down and the up and down. So I think we've seen something sort of similar to this before. I think we saw the sine of 1 over x. I don't think that's what this is. The sine of 1 over x, it got kind of crazy in the center and smoothed out. Oh, and this is going up and down, and it's symmetrical. Oh, so, the other thing that's, symmetrical in that same way around the origin is that tangent function. So the point here and the point here would have that symmetry around the origin. So could this be 1 over the tangent of x? Or what if it's the tangent of 1 over x? Does that agree with anything we have here? So let's think about that for a minute. That would go along with the arms getting closer and closer to zero, because the bigger x gets, the smaller this value is, and the tangent gets smaller as it gets closer and closer to zero. So that does make sense for that part of the shape. Does it make sense for it to go crazy in the middle? Because as you're getting, yeah, so these would be larger and larger values then as you're getting between 1 and 0. So it should kind of be shooting up and down to infinity and negative infinity really fast. So is there a better way to test this? It'd be nice to see if we could actually get something that really goes off the graph, because then that would make me think that this is tangent for sure. Well, let's just try a few other values. What have I tried? I did 0.1. Let's do 0.2. We'll just poke around in here between 0 and 1. That's quite a bit further down. How about 0.3? That's up again. What about 0.25? Well, I did 0.252, huh? And that, boy, it really looks weird in the middle there, doesn't it? Well, I don't know if we're gonna hit on the right value here. I think at this point I'm ready to throw up my hands. This is my best guess, but I'm not really sure how to effectively test this better. I think it's the tangent of 1 over x, but I don't really know. Let's go ahead and take a gamble on this. It is the tangent of 1 over x. Wow, I'm really curious to see what this graph looks like. Huh, look at that. So this program isn't graphing every single point. It would look like a solid block in there in the middle. But yeah, you can see it does shoot off to infinity and negative infinity, and it does kind of go crazy there in the middle. It'd be good to look at this in a different graphing program with a little more detail. Well, that was super strange. I feel like maybe this was a little bit of a lucky guess, although there was some evidence pointing to this. How did it go for you? What were you thinking? I'd love to know. Thanks, everybody.